Welcome everybody to Chaldean News Radio. I'm here, honored to be here with the guest, Paul Elia. Welcome.
Thank you, buddy. You did great, though. You said it right. I used to, for a long time, I would say it wrong.
You would say your own name wrong.
Yeah. I swear, bro. Because when I was in high school, people would always say Paul Elia. People would always say Elia. And then when I moved to Los Angeles, I was also saying Elia. And I was like, bro, this is the American way of saying it. This is my name now. And then I had a conversation with my dad once, and he was like, you know, it's interesting because someone was like, I saw your son on TV, and then he said Paul Elia. And then my dad was like, it's interesting because, you know, my grandfather, he said Elia. And then when my dad said that, I was like, I'm never going to say Paul Elia again.
Why?
It's not who I am. It's not that. Honestly, like even when you're working in entertainment, your superpower is being honest and being who you are. There's only one Cal. There's only one Paul, you know? And it's like we all have a unique experience. And I think as an artist, when you're able to just be you, that's when you really start doing your best work. And it started for me with saying my last name right.
Nice. That's important. So you should give a little introduction to yourself for people who don't know you. You're a comedian.
Yeah, man, you're supposed to do that for me.
All right. Paul Elia, he's a comedian. Do you do some, I've seen you, you've done some Netflix stuff. You have your own show that you take around. Where else can people find you? Where would they know you from?
I worked on Conan for years. The show that I travel with is called Low Key Comedy Show. It's a show that I started with my homie and brother, Matt Rife. We started that show during the pandemic, and now it's one of the hottest shows. Thank God, man.
It really is. I got to see it last year, and I liked that there were a lot of Chaldeans there.
There was. And honestly, I was really overwhelmed by the Chaldean support because for a while I was just like, you know, I feel like Chaldeans don't really want to support as much until I was like at a level to where they're like, oh, now we're proud of this guy. And I was like, you know, I want them to support me at the ground level. But there was like a good group of Chaldeans that have been following me since I first started comedy, first time I ever started. They were like, yo, this is dope. And they supported me. They were like, I don't even care if you're good. I'm supporting you because you are me. You're my people. You're Chaldean.
That's what I love about Chaldeans. Is they'll support you just because you are from the same heritage, from the same community as them.
Yeah, some
of them, yeah. and truthfully, it depends what you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a unusual career path considering our background.
So tell me, let's get into that. How did you start getting into comedy? Maybe you can tell me about growing up here. What was that like? When did you leave?
I was born in San Diego. I lived in San Diego till I was 7 or 8. As you know, there's a very high Chaldean population in San Diego. And then we moved to Southfield, Michigan. And when I was a kid, I grew up in it was mostly like all black, all Chaldean neighborhood. And it was a low income area in Southfield. And I'd get into fights all the time. I get beat up all the time. But I would usually be the one, like I wouldn't back down. Like someone would be like, yo, I'm going to fight you. And then I'm like, yo, let's go. And then I'd lose.
With who?
I've lost a lot of women. Women would beat me up. A lot
Chaldean women?
No. Okay. Like my bully was this girl named Dana.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. She'd beat me up a lot, actually. And
have you confronted her now?
No. I think she's in jail.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can still confront her from there.
Yeah, I ain't got time for that. I'd have to confront her over the phone. Like, hey, Dana, remember that Chaldean kid that you beat up because he had glasses that you thought were dorky?
He decided to become funny to cope.
Yeah, and then she's going to be like, when I get out, I'm going to Can I cuss on this?
No.
There's no cursing? How can I be me?
You can try and I'll probably bleep it out.
Oh, you can bleep it out?
Yeah.
All right, here, let's just for practice. So you're going to have to do that bleep.
Yeah. I'll probably have Lath do it for me.
Yeah, Lath, you're going to be our professional bleeper.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Lath's like, I bleep the curse words on the podcast.
He'll just say bleep.
Yeah, he just says bleep. Very good. Look at this.
Nice.
Cal is hilarious.
All right.
Yeah, bro. So just real quick, when I was younger, I get into fights all the time and I would get beat up a lot, right? And it was just like that type of energy that was around me all the time. And then I was like, how do I get bullies to stop fighting me? And then what stopped it was when I would do impressions of people. So bullies would come up to me and be like, hey, do your impression of James. And then I'd do my impression of James, and then everybody would just laugh around me. And then they would be like, oh, Paul's cool. He's funny. And I was always doing impressions and funny. I always like found that, you know.
That was your first thing, impressions.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It was really easy being someone that wasn't me.
That's like a weirdly deep kind of thing to say, especially with what you said a few minutes ago about being an artist.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I mean, it was just so easy for me to be someone else. So I would just do that, and I would just do an impression of someone else. And then, like, people thought it was great, and I was like, wow, people really like it when I'm someone else. And I think that's what, like, made me, like, really like acting. But I never really thought of it like this until years later. You know, like, I was going to go to law school. I was at Wayne State, 2 classes left, about to graduate. And then I got asked to be a stand-in on a television show called Detroit 187. It was a TV show that was shooting in Detroit at the time. I don't know. How old are you?
I'm 23.
23. Player. You young as
Bleep.
You are young, bro. I'm 35.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, this was before, I don't know how old you were then. You were probably like 10 years old at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember when all these films were shooting in Michigan. Do you remember that? Or vaguely?
Vaguely, yeah, maybe vaguely.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Like old Batman and stuff like that, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like they shot Transformers here.
Yeah, Transformers.
They shot
I do.
this film with, what's it called? Yeah, Bleep. Whatever. We'll figure it out.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's some stuff in the cabinet. Hold on.
Guys, we are taking a break because I spilled my Tim Hortons coffee on the Chaldean Foundation's table. This podcast is sponsored by the Chaldean Foundation. Find out more at chaldeanfoundation.org. Is that the website? All right, great. Cal also doesn't know the name of the website. We have spilled coffee on the table. All right, we just cleaned the coffee, guys. The coffee has been cleaned. I hope you don't edit this part out.
I can't now because of your good ad.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Chaldean Network Radio. Is it Chaldean Network Radio?
Chaldean News Radio.
Chaldean News Radio. I don't know the name.
You got the website right, by the way.
Woo! Hell yeah.
That's
Go
beautiful.
ahead, y'all. You can have that.
All right. So why'd you get Tim Hortons coffee?
Bro, I only drink Tim Hortons coffee when I'm in Detroit. I'll do Tim Hortons and Dunkin' Donuts.
Why is that?
Reminds me of home. I love the taste. I love Tim Hortons. Like, people hate on Tim Hortons. I don't. I love it. It's such a Michigan thing. Also, my mom, we owned a liquor store years ago. Our liquor store was in Clinton Township, Michigan. Shout out to Vino One Stop Market, 15 in Gratiot. Pull up. My mom doesn't work there anymore, but we still own the building. And every day on our way to work, my mom would get Tim Hortons coffee. So I would go to work with my mom. We'd open the store together, and we get Tim Hortons. So there's something about the taste that reminded me of that time.
Nice. So it's a core memory for you in a lot of ways.
Yeah, man. But like, Tim Hortons is changing a little bit now.
In what way?
I don't know. I just feel like the employees are like mad pressed. Like, they're just like so erratic. Like the thing, like they just want you to leave. Like, I'll go there and I'm like, yeah, can I get a medium coffee? Anything else?
Oh.
And I'm like, can I get a donut? That's it? I'm like, no, I have 4 more orders. Then I hear him like, and I'm like, do you have somewhere to be?
Do you think that's true of just Tim Hortons, or is it everywhere now?
I think we're back in the swing of things. I think definitely people got readjusted after like COVID of like the idea of working. You know, like
Yep.
I know a lot of people that are like, bro, I'm rich off crypto now. I don't know if you were on that trend. You look like a crypto investor. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't get rich off of it.
But you made some money.
Yeah, I made some money, a little bit of money, because I was too young to have any money, truthfully.
That's such a Chaldean.
In 2017, like the first wave.
Yeah.
And it was fun. Mostly just fun. I got a few dinners for the boys.
Hell yeah.
It wasn't really much, but it was exciting to talk about.
Yeah.
At the time. Now it's not exciting at all.
The thing is, I don't know what you mean with how much. Like, I don't know if you're like $300 or you're
It's
like
a little
like
more than that,
$10,000.
but not much.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I lost money, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, player. Not that much. I only lost like $3,000.
Okay.
And I
Not a lot
invested
to
in
you.
Dogecoin. I mean,
that's
3,000 is, 3,000.
that's the worst investment you could ever make.
Thank you, Cal. I made a mistake.
When did you invest in Dogecoin?
Player. Ah! Man, I invested in Dogecoin after Elon Musk did SNL.
Okay.
That's
How
when
much was it worth?
I mean, at the time, so I invested when it was 30 cents.
Oh, Lord.
It was 30 cents, and I invested in it. Then it went to 70,
And you didn't sell it.
and I didn't sell it. And now it is at 0.10, maybe.
Wow.
I lost a lot of money.
Lessons learned, though.
Lessons learned, bro. You can't win if you don't play.
That's not the right lesson.
It is, though. If you're going to win, you have to play. Bro, that's the lesson even with anything, with love, with a business. You can't win if you don't play. There's some people who are too scared to play, Like, I know this is considered gambling, but I feel like in a lot of ways, love is gambling. Like even with your career path, like I was like, man, there's no way I can be a comedian. Actually, really, I wanted to be an actor. I still act, obviously, like I still act and write and produce my own stuff and audition for things. And I have stuff that's like coming out, thank God, alhamdulillah, right? But it's like, before I was like, man, I don't know if this is possible. How can I do this? There's no way. I'm from Michigan and my parents are, Iraqi immigrants. Like, there's no way I can like move to LA, move to Hollywood, work in the business. What? This is ridiculous. Then I was like, you can't win if you don't play. And I was like, I got to play.
I heard a similar story from someone recently. I wrote this article about a shoe designer who, Chaldean kid, born and raised in Dearborn. And he ended up got this really prestigious Adidas internship, went to the Adidas Design Academy, he lives in Europe now. Honestly, his designs are the best I've ever seen.
Wow.
He worked on like Y3 shoes.
What's his name?
Ivan Jiddu.
Ivan Jiddu. A few people have mentioned Ivan to me.
And so he was in the Chaldean news a few months ago. Really nice guy, and he said a similar thing to you. He was like, I didn't really. It was always like, I want to do this so bad, but I'm gonna go to Wayne State and try to be a doctor instead, because I think there's this different element now where with a lot of immigrant parents, you're like, they won't let me be anything else but a doctor and a lawyer. But with Ivan and a lot of other people nowadays, they've internalized this idea of I have to be a lawyer or doctor to impress them. But actually, they don't give a bleep. They want you to do whatever you want. That's why they came, actually, so that you could be something incredible and follow your heart. Is that your experience with your family?
I'm so grateful for my parents. So grateful for them, man. They obviously had a lot of doubts, very skeptical, but in a lot of ways, they had the power to tell me, no, you can't go. I don't know if I loved acting as much as I love my family. I love my family more than I loved this potential career path. But my mom, specifically my mom, she saw how much I loved acting and entertainment. And she let me go to Los Angeles. And there's one woman that I really have to thank, in addition to my mom. Her name is Lisa Wiegand. Lisa Wiegand, I met her on the set of Detroit 187. She was a DP for the show. Brilliant DP. She's so good. She's so good. And I'd watch her work and I would be like, man, this is a master at this. And we became friends. And she respected me and liked me, and befriended me. And then when the show was over, she was like, I'm going to Atlanta to shoot a show. Do you want to live in my house for free? And I lived at her house for free for 9 months, saved a bunch of money, and then I was off on my own. But if it wasn't for Lisa, I don't think I would have made it, man. I really don't. Like, a lot of people helped me get to where I am. Mainly, there's a lot of people, but like who we're talking about right now is my family, for one, letting me go. And I don't know how much they vocalized, we believe in you, we're so proud of you, you're great. Like, they didn't say that until later, because they were just like, all right, let's see what you're gonna do. But like right when I moved to LA, I immediately started working. And then there was a period of time where I didn't get shit. I didn't get anything.
Like, what? Go deeper into that. What was the timeline like?
I would say I moved in 2011. In 2011, in April, when I came, I immediately got cast in a play. And this play was written by, his name was Gary Lennon. Gary Lennon is one of the EPs of the show Power on Stars. He was I believe he's a co-EP on the show Justified. Right now, this guy's worked on so many shows. This guy is a master writer. He's one of the best writers I've ever worked with. Had the pleasure of working with Gary Lennon. He did a play. This woman named Coco Peru, that's her stage name. I met Coco Peru in Detroit, and Coco called the director of this play that Gary wrote, named Jim Fall, and was like, yo, you should read this guy, Paul Elia. He just came into town. He might be good for this play. I did this play. The play was like one of the hottest plays in LA. And I had a, decent part in it. So immediately when I moved to LA, I'm like, Mom, I got a part in the play. Then right after that, I got a part in this movie, right? It was a movie. It was like for Lifetime. It was like a Lifetime movie. But I had one scene in it. And then I got a part in like this short film that this, pretty accomplished director named Armand Mastroianni, Italian guy, that he was directing. So immediately my mom's like, wow, this guy, he's working already. Like, I wasn't making a lot of money. Like, from the play, I was getting $10 a show. From the movie I did was called Divorce Invitation. I got $300 to do that movie.
Wow.
For the short film, I got paid $0. And I ended up getting with one of the biggest managers in Hollywood named Brian Medavoy. Brian Medavoy is the son of Mike Medavoy. Mike Medavoy produced Thin Red Line. He produced Terminator, Black Swan.
Okay.
This guy is very accredited. This guy's a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. His son, Brian Medavoy, was, he had huge clients. He had Goldie Hawn at the time. He had, he's had a bunch of clients, man. He had a lot of big clients. And I was like, wow, this guy has 25 clients. I'm one of them, of his 25 clients. So I was just like, I'm here and I'm being accepted. And then during that time, that was probably within a year and a half. After that, for like the next 3 years, I didn't really work a whole lot. I got dropped by my management because I wasn't really booking anything. I was auditioning for my own stuff. I'd go online, try to find my own auditions because I didn't have an agent or manager. I was still looking for a job, and every time I found a job, I would get an audition. I'm like, hey, I have to actually leave work to go do this audition. They're like, you're fired.
Yeah.
So I get fired from every job.
What would you work? What were your jobs when you were there?
I was doing catering. I was hosting. I was working at a spa. I was doing, working at a nightclub. I mean, I did a lot of odd jobs. I would just hustle. I was doing valet.
No way.
I was doing valet.
That's my family business.
Oh, valet?
Yeah.
Oh, player. I was a hell of a valet.
No way.
Bro, I would run to the cars.
You better.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, bro, this is because also I'm like, this is my workout.
Yeah.
So I'm working out. So the thing is,
saving time.
yeah, I would treat it like I'm working out. I would bring ankle weights.
No.
Yeah, I bring ankle weights, and I'm like, I'm working out at work. So basically, I'm like, I don't have time to go to the gym. So I would do valet from like 3 p.m. till like 9, 10 p.m. And then I go do an open mic at midnight.
Wow.
And then when I wasn't doing valet, I would just do open mics from like 5 p.m. until 2 a.m. I would do like 4 or 5 open mics a night. At least I try to. Sometimes like 2, sometimes 3. But if I can do like 4 or 5, I would do that.
In one night.
In one night, yeah.
Valet is the real side hustle.
Oh, buddy.
It's at night. It's you have to kiss ass, but you can make some money.
Yeah, you can make some money, man. I was making some decent. I mean, I'll tell you this: I wasn't making that much money. It was not like that lucrative of a valet job. Like there were some valet jobs that are at like hotels,
Yeah.
and these hotels were like making money.
Yeah.
Like there's some guys that are getting like, and they're like, if you get more than a $10 tip, that's yours.
Yep.
Like if it's 5, they put it in the pot, you share it amongst everybody. But if someone gives you 20, they're like, that's you. You don't share that.
Yeah. That's funny.
And then I
That's
would ask someone, and I'm like, yeah, bro, because I'm getting a $20 tip, you know, and I'm not sharing it. They're like, no, you're supposed to share it. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of an odd way to do it. Sounds like colloquial, but.
Bro. But I found out, man, like, really, like, but then I would ask myself, because things I would valet, and there's some nights where I was like, I thought I moved here to be an actor. I thought I moved here to pursue my dream. And then I would see, like, my brother opening his law firm. You know, my brother is Sam Elia and Ponto. I don't know if you've seen his commercials and his billboards.
I've seen a little bit of that stuff.
Yeah, this guy is, you know, killing the game. He's really doing well. And I would see him.
That could have been you, man.
Exactly. That's what I would think all the time. That could have been me. I could have been a lawyer in Michigan making money. But instead, I'm living in a 1-bedroom apartment with a white rapper named Scripture.
And what year was this?
This
So
was...
You got some stuff, a little buzz in 2011.
Yeah.
Now where are we?
Now where we are?
No, yeah. In the
like
story.
Today?
No, in the story.
I mean, this right here is probably like 2015, 16.
Did you ever have major doubts? Like, I'm going to move back home?
It was in and out, but I wouldn't say major. There were times where I was like, am I really about to be 40 years old and working valet, trying to make it in Hollywood? Is that really going to happen? And then I told myself this though. I was like, if that's what God intended for me, if this is what God wants for me, I have to accept it. I have to accept it. And I was like, I'm going to do my best. Like I read this book called The 4 Agreements. And I never really like turned to like self-help books because, you know, just I think in general, the Middle Eastern Chaldean community is just like, I'm not going to read a book. I'm going to pray. I'm not going to like go to a therapist.
It's true.
I'm going to pray. Like, why do I need to see a therapist? I'm not going to see somebody, to see a therapist, you know? And then I was like, nah, man, I want to know for sure. And then I read this book called The 4 Agreements, and it said something. It was like the 4 agreements are, one of the agreements is always do your best. And as long as you're doing your best, you got nothing to worry about. And me, you know, I'm such a deep believer in God. And I'm like, if this is what God has intended for me, then I have to accept it, but I'm going to do my best. And then I always ask myself, am I doing my best? If I wasn't doing my best, then I'm like, well, I'm not giving myself a fair enough shot. So that's why I was like, I'm going to valet. I'm going to do an open mic after. I know I'm tired, but am I doing my best? And then obviously sometimes, you know, when you're doing your best, you get tired and you're like, dang, man, like, how come everyone else is getting stuff and not me? Why are all these other people booking commercials and not me? Which is a poisonous mentality because it's like, don't worry about them. You know, you got to worry about you. Like I got my own podcast. I'm like, how come I'm not getting more downloads? How come this person is getting this and not me? How come this person is selling out and I'm not selling out? Why is this person doing shows and I'm not? And it's like that, all that, bro, is all a distraction from doing your best. So I realized that around that time. And I think that's what kept me going.
And then do you think that realization somehow propelled you to success? What was your, how did your success come?
It was a very slow
roll.
Oh my God, bro. It was literally on some every step vibes.
Wow.
I did not skip any steps, man. Like, I'm talking open mics to then doing like a few shows a week and then flying myself to New York, losing money. All the money I would save, I'd go to New York to do like 40 shows, lose money on my flight, staying on people's couches, going from like spot to spot, auditioning for things, sleeping outside to audition for like NBC, Stand Up for Diversity.
Wow.
Like, that's what it was for me, bro. I clawed, but my nails are strong now. So that's why I'm so grateful for that, because I don't think I'd have strong nails as the metaphor, I'm using.
So now you're quite successful, I would say.
Alhamdulillah, man.
You're around also a lot of people who are quite successful. Some below, some at your level, and some above. Do you think that everybody or most of the people that are successful in Hollywood, in this world that you're in, had that experience of clawing their way, of a slow roll into success?
It's different for everybody. I mean, there's some people that like chapter one for them was I got booked on a TV show. Mm-hmm. And then they were working on a TV show for years and then they just shot up. So, and then there's some people like, Mo Amer, who basically was like Palestinian refugee, moved to Houston, didn't know English. Father passed away when he was young, worked his way up, working comedy clubs. There's other people that are just like posted a few videos online and then I blew up. And then there's some people, everyone has a different story, but, like Mo Amer's a really dear friend. I love him so much, and I look at his story and it inspires me. Like, he's someone who really clawed, then you see him now, like.
What's his show called?
Mo.
And you're on, a couple seasons of it, or?
No, I didn't do Mo's show. I did an episode of Rami.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I did an episode of Rami. I did one episode in season 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it was me and Mia Khalifa.
Wow, really? What was that like?
It's great. It's great. Great show. I love Rami's show.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that because he's my friend. I love his show. He's so honest, and like he always encouraged me to be honest. And like what I loved about like, people like Mo and Rami is I'm like, man, like it feels so good to kick it with people that like really believe in God. It's like, cause there's a lot of people in LA that, I shouldn't say just LA, just all over, people that just don't have like some sort of relationship with like God, And then when you're with people that are like, that really have a strong faith, it just makes you feel so much better about your own faith. It makes you feel so much better, but just about the idea of submitting to a higher power, and this is what gives me so much strength. Like, that's what made me realize I'm like, whatever God has intended for me, I have to accept it. For someone who has no sort of relationship with their religion or their higher power, like if someone has no relationship with that, they don't come to these conclusions. Mm-hmm. They call God energy.
And it ends up serving them kind of however they want it to.
Yeah, bro, I believe people who just want to worship themselves.
What are have you come into like confrontations about this topic with people in that sphere, especially when, you didn't have as much power yourself. Now you have a pretty big name, a lot of people. Did you ever have an issue like, yeah, I'm faithful? What about it?
No.
That's good.
No. I mean, no one's ever checked me about that.
I really like this part where you lost money going to New York, sleeping on people's couches. You're sleeping outside the NBC studio. When did you feel like you made it and there was no going back? Do you feel like that now?
I felt like that when I was outside of NBC. Like, really? It wasn't NBC. This was in San Diego. There was a Stand Up for Diversity showcase where basically NBC does this thing every year where they take comedians, where it's an open call. You audition, you do 1 minute of stand-up comedy, And then through that 1 minute, they see maybe 300 people in like a bunch of cities. They see people in Chicago, New York, LA, Houston, Seattle. They see people in all the major cities. And of these people, they basically, of those 300, however many people that audition, they take 10 people and they do a showcase. And of those 10 people in these major cities, they basically take 10 of all those comedians and they put them on one show. And these comedians that do one show, they select one winner to be the finalist. So I drove to San Diego and I did it, but you have to wait in line. And thing is, they only take the first 300 applicants. So you got to get there a little early. So I got there around 8 p.m. and it was the next day and I was number 50.
Nice.
So I was like, cool, I definitely got my spot. So I brought like a blanket, I brought a pillow, and I brought, a notebook, and I was just writing. I brought my laptop at the time and I was just like typing away and doing stuff. And there was all these comics. So it was like a hangout.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? All these comics, like one guy basically brought a TV. He put it in his trunk and we're like, playing NBA 2K. So
it's not as bad as I thought.
Now it was a vibe, man. But then it's like 2 a.m. and then it's time to sleep. And you don't want to miss your place in line. You got to stay in line. So like I had my stuff there and I wasn't sleeping in my car. I was like, I'm just going to sleep out here. And like, even then I was like, I'm not turning back. Early on, I was like, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go till the wheels fall off. I had doubts, obviously. Doubts came, but it was like, there's no turning back. And in terms of like starting to like make money, make a living, it didn't happen until way later. But I mean, there was always like little things that would happen. Like, like my account started to like dwindle and I'm like, man, I don't know how I'm going to make it. And then I get a gig for like, $5,000, $10,000. And I'm like, okay, cool. This is going to afford me, to live for a little longer.
Yeah.
And then I would do shows, $100 here, $300 here, $500 here, $300 here, opening up for my friend, $400 here, doing this show, $400 here. So I was just like hustling like that.
I want to dive into comedy as an art form. How do you get from the Chaldean kid in Southfield doing impressions to writing shows and writing stand-up routines, learning how to improv? What's that process like? It's not something that a lot of people get to do.
Just time. Anything you do it enough times, you'll be great. So I was just doing it a lot. I was doing it almost every day. I wasn't doing like one comedy show a month. I was doing probably 60 comedy shows a month. And I would go up all the time. And I was doing open mics all the time. I was doing improv classes like all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the money I would save, I'd spend all of it on my career.
Do you have what's the worst show you've ever done?
Worst? Probably my first one.
Really?
Yeah, I did it at the MGM Casino.
Wow.
In Detroit. It was 2,000 people there. That was my first time ever. Oh,
What
it was
happened?
awful. Bro, my family walked out.
No way.
My family.
Are you making fun of them?
No. It was just bad. It was bad.
I hope you look back on it fondly now.
Oh, my God. I look back at that and I'm like, what bravery. But also, I feel like it was because of my ignorance, because I was so ignorant. I was like, that's comedy, bro. This is light work.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a G. I'm like, bro, I'm Paul Elia. I can do whatever, And I had that type of confidence. I was like, I'm better than him. Someone would be like, oh, Tom Cruise is a great actor. I'm like, yeah, he's not as good as I am.
Wow.
That's the type of confidence I had. I was like, I'm better than him.
That's dangerous.
Bro, but look what it can do.
Yeah.
You got to be a little crazy.
A little bit.
You know what I mean?
You a little crazy?
I don't like using that term.
Yeah.
Let me redact. There's a certain level of ignorance. Am I ignorant? Yeah. I'm ignorant to my own abilities. You have to be a little bit.
Tell me, can you describe the bomb show anymore? What really happened?
Bro, people love hearing failure. People are like, tell me how bad it was.
That's my favorite thing is when comedians describe their worst bombs.
You love torture.
I really do.
Yeah.
And I've never gotten to talk to one about it before.
Wow. Okay. So I'll tell you in detail. So I show up to the show and there's like 2,000 people there. My family is in like the third or fourth row. And it's like a whole row, probably 40 people in my family. There's 2,000 people.
When was this?
This was in 2011, February.
Wow.
This was in the MGM.
Before you even moved.
Before I moved.
Yeah.
This is at the MGM Casino in their ballroom. So I'm backstage, and there was no bathroom in the ballroom. The only bathroom is outside into the casino. So the thing is, in order for me to leave the casino, I'd have to basically leave through this door and then walk back in where the audience was. And I didn't want to be around people because I was like too nervous to be around them. So I took like maybe 17 pees in the kitchen because I kept having to pee. I was so nervous. I was like, I got to pee. So I would pee, and then I come back, and then I'm like, I got to pee again. And then I pee again. When I'm nervous, I be peeing.
That's your thing.
Yeah, peeing. And I was going to pee my pants. And the thing is, I had to pee probably once every 5 minutes. I had to pee, then I had to pee, I had to pee, I had to pee, I had to pee. I was getting sick to my stomach. And then I was like, I got to just go out there, though. I got to just go out there. I got to just go out there. And then I saw the guy hosting the show. His name's Sean Majumder. Sean was hosting the show. And Sean realized, I think, based on looking at me, like, I don't think this dude knows what he's doing. Because I lied to Sean. And I told him, bro, I do comedy. I'm great. He goes, cool, I'll give you 7 minutes. Do 7 minutes, the opening of the show, do 7. Oh, man. Bro, I walked on stage, and I said my first joke, and I was like, I knew this is good, and I know this is going to kill. And I was like, keep going for Sean Majumder. His name's Sean Majumder. I was like, man, you can't say Sean's name without gargling on your own saliva. And then it was just, bro, it was just silence. Like, and then I heard one guy in the back like, what? And then I was like, yeah, like you take some water and then you do this. And then silence. And then this one guy in the back was like, God damn. So then I was like, I know I'm doing bad because I can hear people whisper from far away. Lord. And then I said this joke. And I was like, oh, man, the guy from 300, the movie 300 came out. I was like, man, the guy from 300 has such a deep-ass voice. He sounds like my dad. So I did an impression of the guy. Nothing. And then I was just like, I got to pee.
No.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, my God, this is bad. And then I was like, and then I realized I'm not doing good.
Uh-huh.
In the beginning, I was like, I'm not doing good. This is hard. I have to find a way to just get through this. So I just barrel rolled through the set. And I was like, yeah, and this happened. And I was just talking fast.
Wow.
I got to just get through it.
Anything hit at all?
One joke hit. When I was like, yeah, man, I was at Greektown Casino the other day. You guys been to Greektown? Then people started to clap. And then I was like, I was quiet. And I was like, I can't believe I'm advertising for another casino while I'm at this casino. And that got a huge laugh.
Wow.
But the thing is, I just kept going. I started talking over the laugh.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
But the thing is, I heard it. I heard that because I was like, I know I'm not going to get a laugh. So let me just keep going. But when I heard that first laugh, I was like, oh my God, so it is possible to get a laugh.
It is possible. So then you decided to move to California.
Yeah, I moved to LA after that.
Interesting timeline, but you were confident.
Yeah.
How did you cope with that mentally? That bad experience, but you still have the confidence.
I put it behind me, man. I mean, at a certain point, you got to just like move on, bro. I'm like, that was yesterday. It's over.
Yeah.
What's next?
I think that's one of the biggest problems for artists, especially new artists, up and coming. It sounds like you had an easy time with it, maybe because of your ignorance and confidence.
Yeah, man, I just had to move. I was like, all right, what's next? You know, like, I mean, it took some time. I was like, I don't think I can do comedy. I mean, obviously, it took like 8 months for me to get back on stage. Actually, 7. It took me 7 months to get back on stage. And then I finally got back in the game.
What did your family think of that night?
They were like, bro, you did bad. Like, my cousin was there and he goes, yo, Paul, man, you suck. And then I was so in my head. I had this girl that I brought, that was there to come see me. And she was like, you are so funny, babe. You were the funniest one. And in my mind, I was like, you're such a liar.
How long till you guys stopped seeing each other?
I don't know, a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, player.
So what do you think, what do you want to tell to people who have aspirations such as yourself in 2011? What do you think is the best advice? What's the best mindset you can teach them?
There's so many things, but the key thing is like, you got to just like do it. But it's so scary, right? So it's like, you got to just go. Even if you're scared, just push. Really with anything, man. Like you're a podcaster, like I don't know like how how much of this you want to like really do, you know, but it's like, you know, I guarantee you every interview feels better than the next one.
It does. You're right.
You know, so it's like, imagine you do like one a day as an example, you know, and then your listening is going to be so much better. And then you're going to like the questions and everything's going to be so much better, you know? So it's like, you got to just keep doing it. Reps, bro. The more reps you get, you'll get better at anything.
What are some, do you have any weird hobbies?
Weird hobbies.
People might not expect of you.
A weird hobby? I don't know if they're weird. Like, I love cooking. Cooking's fun.
Why? How'd you get into cooking?
I just love servicing others.
Yeah, that's very Chaldean of you.
Yeah. Like if someone comes to my home, I'm going to make food. I'm going to make a thing and I'm going to service them. Like, here you go. This is for you. You know, that's my vibe.
What's your favorite stuff to make?
I do a whole appetizer entree situation. Like thing is, I'll take broccolini, put it in the air fryer, right? Then I'll cook some couscous, right? The rice pilaf kind, right? Put that on the side. And then I'll do like salmon. And then I'll like, you know, put that in the air fryer, season it nice. And then I'll do like some vegetable juice. I'll do like veggies, very few fruit. I'll put that up, do that. And then I'll do like some dessert. I'll take like banana and then I'll put like rice pudding on top of it with honey, cinnamon.
Wow. You just planned a full course meal.
Yeah, that's how I roll.
I'm kind of hungry right now, honestly.
Yeah, this is sponsored by, it's a Chaldean restaurant.
Ishtar.
Ishtar Restaurant.
Yeah.
Visit your local Ishtar restaurant. Have you ever thought about doing radio like, hey everyone, how are you? Welcome to the Chaldean News Radio.
Actually, I haven't thought of that, no.
I always miss those people. They're like, hi everyone, how are you? Is there still the Quiet Storm? You ever listen to that?
No, I've never heard that.
Quiet Storm is this radio station. They're like, hello, you're listening to the Quiet Storm. We're here. Now here's some Jodeci. And they play Jodeci.
I think people on radio, they like to yell a lot now.
Is there still Mojo in the morning?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, bro. That was my dream to get on Mojo in the morning.
Really? We had...
I don't know how I get on it. I gotta email him. Come on, Mojo. What's up, player?
we used to have a Chaldean guy on.
Yeah,
955.
Slim.
Yep.
Chris.
Yeah, you know him.
Yeah, bro. Slim's the homie. Slim
Wow.
is a G.
How
Slim
do
is
you
a
know
G.
him?
Just from around.
Southfield.
Yeah, man. We used to play basketball together.
Wow.
And then like Slim's like a celebrity.
Yeah, he is kind of.
He is? What does he do now? Where's Slim at?
I actually have no clue, but sounds like that's your in for Mojo in the morning, right?
I mean, bro, I'm sure he gets hit up all the time.
Yeah.
You know? But I would just love to get on Mojo just to be like, man, because I used to prank call Mojo.
Yeah, you used to prank call Mojo?
Yeah.
I thought they prank called people.
That's the thing is I prank called them.
Wow.
I called them once and they were like, so stupid. I called them once. They're like, talk about your weird hookup story. And I would just like call them like makeup stuff.
That's great. I always felt like everybody on the radio just made stuff up.
A lot of people do. Yeah, I'm sure they do. I mean, it sounds like a lie. Like one guy's like, yeah, so I was with my girlfriend and turns out she's a dolphin. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, she's a dolphin. Oh, it sounds like things are fishy. All right. Anyway, and they hang up on their face.
Yeah.
What about you? And he goes, yeah, I found out she's my brother. And they're like, oh, that's weird, Nick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The radio is, I respect it a lot. There's a certain artistry to it, especially the live stuff. You don't really get that anymore. Even just the pressure of like really being live. If you swear, it's $30,000.
What?
Yeah, if you swear on the radio, it's a large fine.
That is bull.
Well, you can say that because we're on the internet now.
Yes.
Except we're still gonna bleep it out. Let's talk more about comedy. Like, who do you like in, who's popular today? Do you have any, or did you have any inspirations when you're coming up?
I'd say, who do I love now in terms of comedians?
Besides your friends, or maybe.
Bro, I love Fahim Anwar is great. Love Fahim, Ian Edwards, Jesus Trejo, Joe List, Jim Gaffigan,
Did you
Sammy Obeid.
Did you have any inspirations when you were growing up? Like, who's your favorite one to listen to?
I mean, when I was younger, I would watch Comic View.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen Comic View.
I don't remember it.
It's mostly black comics. It was on BET.
Okay.
And I watch Comic View, and I'm like, man, D. Ray Davis, Bruce, Arnez J. Oh my God, bro. They would kill me, bro. Especially Bruce, man. It's one of my favorite comedians.
That's a common one, I think, for comedians.
Bruce?
Yeah.
Have you seen Bruce?
Just a little bit.
Oh my God, bro. This guy used to go on stage. He goes, "What's up, y'all?" And he's a bigger guy. And he goes, "Don't worry, I won't tip over." And they would just like smash. This guy was so funny.
Yeah.
Love Bruce, man. I loved him, man. And then when I moved to LA, my inspiration was one of my heroes, really, man, was a comedian named Brody Stevens. I love Brody Stevens. He was legit one of the funniest comedians I've ever seen. I'd watch him, and he would do like this hybrid style of comedy where he would do like one-liner jokes, and then if the audience wasn't like into it, he then broke out into this whole new style where he would just yell at the audience for not laughing. Like he would go on stage and he goes, "Hi guys, very hairy, grown up as a child. Some of you had Flintstone vitamins. I had Rogaine chewables. We're doing great. I went to swim in the ocean the other day and I clogged the drain." And then people be quiet and he goes, "Why aren't you laughing? These are good jokes. You're negative. Arm cross, negative. You're negative." And he goes, "I am famous. I just did background work on a podcast."
Nice.
And then he would then go into the jokes, and like I would see him and I'm like, "Oh my God, bro, this guy is so funny, bro." Then I'd watch his videos and I'm like studying him. And then I started to like emulate him, and I really wanted to be him. He passed away in, I think, 2019, 2020. I think 2019 he passed away. Man, he was one of the funniest. So I would say for sure Brody Stevens.
What's it like writing a joke?
It's great, especially now when you write it and it works. Now it's a pretty good batting average. Like I'll write it and then I'll like write something down. I'm like, all right, I think this will work. Like even for the show tonight, I'm going to try some stuff I just wrote. Mm-hmm. Like I looked at it, I'm like, okay, I think this is going to work. And if it doesn't work, it's fine. Like I'll just make it hilarious. You just find a way.
How much did improv become a part of your routines over time?
A lot, because I wasn't as confident in my joke writing. So I'm like, I just got to freestyle, make this funny.
So you started with a lot of improv.
Yeah, I would like write like a few jokes. They wouldn't like be that funny. Then I would just talk to the crowd and that would do well.
That's nice. You know who I've seen a lot of recently, mostly on YouTube, is Andrew Schultz. He pretty much his whole set is making fun of the crowd.
Yeah.
And like racial jokes.
Yeah.
And that's clearly and obviously something you cannot plan. Or at least like there's a significant part of the joke is prompted by whoever you're looking at or who heckles you and that stuff, which I think is so impressive. I'm mostly a writer, which means I have a lot of time to prepare my stuff and publish it, and a lot of planning goes into it. I've played jazz before, and that's one of the most impressive things for me is when a jazz artist can improvise something totally new just from a few ideas and chords. Mm-hmm. And to do that with words and jokes and really like hit on some things is so cool to me.
Yeah, man.
Did you have any mentors, different than inspirations, people you knew who taught you stuff?
Several, yeah. I had several people. I would say namely, when I first started comedy, I'd watch this comedian named Jason Stewart. And Jason Stewart is he has more of like this old school, like Joan Rivers, Don Rickles style of comedy. And I'd watch him go up and I would see him just crush. And I'm like, that's the energy I want to be on. I want to crush like that. He was very genuine too. He was a gay comedian. So he was very open about his sexuality, and oftentimes it was like very sexual, and still it's like this guy's he can make anyone laugh. This guy's just a killer comic. He showed me a lot, and like, you know, I'd watch him, and like he taught me a lot. We started to work together, and you know, we still stay in touch. I love him, man. He's a great comic. You know, Ian Edwards became a very important mentor to me in my life when it came to like joke writing and just how to navigate the business. My buddy Azhar Usman, fantastic comic from Chicago. Yeah, he was great too.
Great. All right. Any last words for the Chaldeans here, or aspiring artists? You want to inspire them?
Be who you are. We can only be who we are. We can't be anyone else. As long as you're doing that, God will guide you.
God bless. Thank you so much, Paul Elia, for coming on. And I'll see you at your show tonight.
See you, bro.